Hey, what's up? This is Laidback Loot, DJ and producer, Kung Fu athlete, and dedicated dad. This is the vlog you have been waiting for. People have been asking me for ages how to transition from genre to genre and from BPM to BPM. Today, we're gonna dive mostly into the BPM part. But before I go in, I need to give a shout out to the comments of last week. Top 2 comments. I'm just gonna quickly show them right in here. But I mostly wanna give a shout out to Mim0000. And you see how much fun I've had over the years doing this. And now it's vlog time. But before we dive into the vlog, did you subscribe to my channel? Because if you think this is an awesome subject, there's so many more things on the way and you really don't want to miss out. The myth of the tempo transitions broken down right here on the true story and the real life. Let's go. After this tutorial, you may think it's much easier than you at first expected it to be. So I categorize these transitions into 3 transitions. First, it's the BPM, then it's the sync, and then it's the save. The BPM transition is quite straightforward. So in this case, you can just look at the BPMs on the players, see where you're coming from, and see where you need to go to. And then you can use a section like the climax to actually bridge that gap. So say if you need to go from 126 to 147, it means you'll have the climax to adjust the tempo that much to be able to transition into that tempo. Now, mind you, I always have my players set on +20 pitch. Sometimes you'll need to have +50, but a +10, with a +10 pitch, you won't be able to make that. So keep that in mind. And if you're going to transition and you always play at +10, make sure you switch the pitch to a proper reach. Pitching it up in a climax, you can do a couple of things. So you can pitch up to the BPM, and then when the drop hits, you can go into the drop of the other player. Or you can pitch up the climax and then go into the climax of the other track. What I often do when I switch from, say, Moombahton to Dutch house is to gradually speed it up. In certain songs, I can start up with like 105 BPM, work my way up to 110, then to 114, and within the song, while it's playing, luckily these players have a key pitch, so you don't really notice the transition in the actual pitch or the key of the notes. So when you're playing and you're at like 114 and you let the track play for about 30 seconds and you gradually pitch it up until 120 BPM, then you're already there to like go into some deep house or some housey stuff, and even into like proper Dutch stuff. What I very much do in sets is actually putting the track that's playing in a loop. And usually when you let the loop play, or even shorten a loop, you can kind of like make your own climax. Again, climax is the key to change the pitch any way you want it, faster, slower, but that's actually your favorite transitional area there. And now we have a very dirty word when it comes to mixing and DJing, the sync. I never really use the sync, but it comes in handy when it comes to various BPM and transitioning into various BPMs. This is what a lot of the radio shows use, and this is why a lot of the transitions, for instance in mix-mash radio, sound so seamless. With sync, it's as easy as just sliding the fader up or down and you'll get into the BPM you want. But here's a note, this can only be when you have like a high pitch range. Again, my pitch range is 20, so I'm very flexible. I can go from a very low BPM to a very high BPM. And with a sync on, which I rarely use in sets, you can easily make those big transitions. Another one of my favorite mixing tools is what I call the save. And with these type of transitions, you just really need to pay attention to the sweep effects right over here. And these are the tools that can save you. What's important here is to count. What I usually do with the save is to activate it on the 4 before you mix. So I'll have the right deck all set up and ready. Say it's in a totally different BPM, which is fine. It's already set up. With a push of a button, the track will start. This one is playing right here. You let it play, and then when you decide to mix, when the moment comes, you just count to 4, or with the washout, it's very handy to count to onto the 1. And when the moment comes, you just activate the sweep effects and just press play on the other player, and there's your save. Perfectly ideal to fade out and go into a total new tempo or a total new style. Now here's quite a big side note when it comes to changing styles, tempos, and genres. I've said it before in my real DJing seminar, and if you haven't seen it, check out the link below. A lot of people, a lot of you have seen it, but I'll just repeat again because it's so important to me. If you're thinking of, playing deep house and trying to switch to something crazy like trap, make sure that it's not going back and forth. So playing deep house and then a trap song, and then playing a house song, and then a Dutch house song. And so flipping your set like that, to me, sounds like an inexperienced DJ. You cannot do that. You need to have a flow in your set. And how you create the flow is actually by making sure people kind of get fed up by feeding them a lot of the same. If they're at the end of being fed up, then it's the moment to switch into something, to hip-hop or to trap, take the energy higher. And when you switch out to trap, for instance, make sure you play at least 3 or 4 songs in the same type of genre before you switch back. I often even hear professional DJs switching from the one genre to the other, and the whole set doesn't even make sense. You cannot even dance to it or get into it. And it's very important to create that tension of where is the cusp of where people will stop dancing or lose interest. And when that happens, then it's the time to switch up. So now when you know all of this, all these awesome transitional tools, don't go and do sets like, the one style to the other, to that style, to... I know it's fun, but make sure there's that line. Real DJing has everything to do with storytelling and keeping the flow of the night, and I want you to keep this in mind when varying genres and BPMs. So I hope this all became very clear to you right now. If you liked what you saw, make sure to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Next week, something totally different, not a tutorial, not a concept, something out of the ordinary. I'll have the one and only G-Flow traveling with me on tour. This is probably going to be so much fun. I'm very excited for it. Make sure to tune in next week. Until then, L's up, race safely, and salute.